Good morning. It's 8:48 a.m. on a Tuesday. We got Dr. Aaron Chapa in studio. Before we get into this, before we get into all of the fun, we're going to be talking about aches and pains. I'm going to let you know on an opportunity you have to win 2 tickets, a pair of passes to the Bay Area Houston Women's Conference taking place at the South Shore Hotel Resort. It's right there off of South Shore. Like if you're in League City, it's going to be an awesome time. I had the opportunity to go to the Bay Area Houston Women's Conference last year. Sat at the guys' table, had a great time. Chef Mary Bass was there. I had the opportunity to meet Christina Wells, and I had a great time. So this year, it's going to be the 3rd annual. All you have to do is like this video, comment on this video, share it out, and then in the comment that you leave, let me know why you want to go. If you've heard of it, or maybe it's going to be your first time, but I'm going to be reminding you throughout this show that you have an opportunity to win a pair of passes to go to that conference. Shout out to Top Star Marketing for partnering with us and giving us a pair of tickets that we can give away to bless you. So that's what we're all about here. We love to bless people with information. We love to bless them with opportunity, tickets, food, anything that we can do. Today we got Dr. Chapa. He's going to be blessing us all with information, knowledge, and we are not going to be destroyed for a lack of knowledge because today Dr. Chapa is going to be sharing. What's going on?
Oh, man, it's great to be here as usual. This is Dr. Aaron Chapa. Gardy, I love the KHEA radio. I love what y'all are doing to just spread that, positive vibe throughout our community. That outreach is apparently with this new app that we got launched. I mean, where people can listen to us all over the country, all over the world.
All over the world.
Got Wi-Fi, right? Mm-hmm. And we also got our TV station up and running. So, hi to people in TV land as well as Facebook, as well as, radio on the FM. I mean, it's just amazing what we got rolling. What
would be the way that you listened? Like if you weren't on the show every Tuesday and you'd obviously be listening to the Dr. Chapa, show.
Of course.
How would you listen or watch?
So I would go through the app myself. And the app is turned out to be like one of my favorite applications of media, because it's just something I can quickly find. I don't have to go searching for it, or hope that I can find it. I can just, pull my phone up, and if I get out of the car, it still plays, and it's just rocking and rolling. I love it.
I do too. And then you can have it playing in the background. Maybe you're at work right now. You can just keep it going, kind of have something to listen to.
Absolutely.
And then whenever you feel like, hey, I want to ask a question,
well,
you can.
My mom is a firm believer in, just get them in under the word. When I was a kid, raised in church, she wasn't a stickler about me being in Bible study or all the different Sunday school programs at the church. She was comfortable if I was comfortable underneath the pew or the seat at that point.
Just get him in the building.
Yeah, just get him in the building, and I remember she goes, she feels like the power of God is so powerful that even if I'm under the word, even if I'm not technically listening with my earthly ears, that my spiritual man was growing and developing all those years.
That's good. And also, if you're in the building, that's less opportunity for you to be out doing something else.
Out of the building doing crazy stuff.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
So let's go ahead. We're going to hop on the FM again. I'm going to remind everybody, if you like this video, comment on it. Let me know why you would want to attend the Bay Area Houston Women's Conference. We're giving away a pair of passes. Make sure you share it out. Let me know if you have any questions for Dr. Chapa about the Women's Conference, and we'll get those asked and we'll get those answered. This is KHEA Radio. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now, it's 8:52 on a Tuesday morning. I have Dr. Aaron Chapa here in studio. We're going to be sharing about health, wellness, and I believe specifically aches and pains, maybe even arthritis. If your body hurts, you're going to want to tune in. Call a friend. Tell them to turn the radio to 99.5 FM. If you're watching on Channel 46, thank you. Good morning to you. Tell them to turn on their TV. Call and tell a friend that they're going to be learning something today. We have Dr. Chapa in studio. Dr. Chapa, how are you doing?
Oh, if I was any better, I'd be twins. I'm so glad to be here, guys. This is a fun day. I mean, I woke up this morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed at 5 a.m., was at the tennis courts with my son and my neighbors.
What time? At 5?
We were there at 5:30.
What time did you leave?
No, leave about 7, probably 7:05.
Okay.
Because I had to make sure I had plenty of time to feed myself, shower myself, and leave out the door by 8.
I was there too. Are you inside or outside with
this morning you were there?
Yes.
That's awesome. No, this morning I was outside at the tennis courts.
Okay, I'm going to peek outside next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just going to yell. If you hear somebody yell, Dr. Chapa,
I'm going to freak out.
Hurry up, you're going to be late to Kickstart on KHEA Radio. We need to get started. And then I'm just running away.
We're running behind schedule. Yeah, absolutely. So no, I was definitely there and felt great, man. It just is one of those mornings where you just drive down the road and it's cool outside.
The temp was cool.
And
Yeah.
it's what all of us Texans love about Texas. Whenever it gets nice, it's nice. Although, the 98% of the other time it's humid.
Yeah.
But it was sure nice.
It was like crisp and cool. And like I was walking into the building and I had to pull out my phone and I got to check it again. So right now it says it's 68 degrees in Lamarck, Texas with a high of 82. 68 and 82, I feel like that's a big jump.
Yeah.
When is it going to hit 82? Like in the afternoon, but
Right
it feels
now,
nice.
It was so nice. I love it. I love fall.
Does that mean I'm getting old? Like whenever I can just appreciate the weather?
I think so. It's like when you start appreciating like kitchen utensils
and good grass.
And good grass.
Like, the grass is looking good this year. I'm like mad at the weeds.
That's right.
Yeah.
I remember the folks, we had some neighbors moved in down the street from Alaska, and they would drive around. They say, "You guys are so like particular about your yards." I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" They like in Alaska, we don't worry about weeds and stuff like that.
Nobody cares?
Nobody cares. And I'm like, really? I was like, why not? I thought that was just kind of a thing. They said, not in Alaska. I mean, I guess because, most of the time it's dark outside, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was interesting how we all have every culture has their way. And, you're just learning to appreciate God's plan and divine beauty everywhere you go. That's a good thing.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful day outside here in Lamarck, Texas, in Galveston County. We are broadcasting live from the campus of Abundant Life, and we have Dr. Aaron Chop in studio. 10 o'clock, we're going to have Pastor Catherine Rudolph sharing about a ton of upcoming events that we have going on, including the Taco Cook-Off. Dr. Chapa, I know you're always busy on the weekends, and I don't think that you're able to attend because you're probably at a conference learning about why tacos are bad for you.
No, tacos, we're always going to make a way for the taco. The taco will never be bad.
You can squeeze it in.
That's right. We're going to have to figure out a way to make it healthy. So
yeah.
I am at conferences a lot. This last month, I was at 2 different conferences, one in Colorado and one in Michigan, and it was amazing just the things that I'm still learning. Like, and I always tell patients and tell people this, like, one of the things that they can count on about me is I'm an excellent student. I love learning. I love being re-educated on what I should already know. And the more I learn, the more I realize I don't have a clue. This is a very vast and deep well of information that I have to learn a lot about a lot when it comes to being a puzzle solver for all people's health and wellness needs. People come to see us at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center for a multitude of conditions and syndromes and issues that they're dealing with. Everything from joint pain and inflammation, like we're going to talk about today, arthritis, or what I like to call arthrongus, because I don't think that there's anything rightus about it, right? And so we've got to make sure that we teach people that accepting the way your body is and realizing that there's a better way are different things. Like, don't accept that your body's not performing for you well. Don't accept that if you weren't genetically born with a condition that you have to live with a condition that you've developed later in life. Let's redevise a plan. Let's recognize if we do the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different result, then maybe people would call us crazy. So, let's change it up. Let's find a different angle for which we want to help ourselves get out of the health rut that we're in. And because there's a way. There's a way that you can get out of whatever it is you're dealing with. And at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, we're always about teaching you the underlying issues that are driving the problems in your body. One of the biggest challenges and problems that I would say is wrong with our healthcare today is we're a treatment model only. Mm-hmm. We don't really care about what causes it. Like, hey, there's a pothole on the road, drive around that. No, just every time you tear something up due to the pothole, you just go to the mechanic and they fix it. Well, let's not be such just treatment driven. Let's look for the underlying cause of stimulus that's creating the challenges that your body's dealing with day in and day out. And that's what we teach at Living Well. Upstream medicine is what I call it. Upstream functional issues and challenges that can be addressed, that is under your control. And whenever you address these issues, these underlying issues, all of a sudden the inflammatory burdens that your body is carrying day in and day out begin to cease. And you start going, what? How did that happen? I thought I was born this way. I thought I had to live the rest of my life this way. I thought this, that, the other. It's just mind-blowing how many conditions people bring into the office. And I'm never cocky enough to say that I've seen it all, because every time I turn around, something new comes in. Every month, every year, something baffles me in like, wow, that was a miracle. Like I'm perplexed by that something so easy that we did made such a grand difference in that person's life, but yet how complex that condition was when they came in. I came in going, I don't know if I can do this one, Lord. And Lord just says, just do what you do, Chop. I put you on this earth to be a light for me, to be an encouragement for me, to be a healer for me, and that's what I've called you to do. You just try. Do what I've called you to do.
Does the Lord call you Chop? Because that's cool.
Yeah,
can I call you Chop too?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, good. Just making sure. Okay, right now it's about 9 o'clock. This is KHEAradio.com, 99.5 FM. We're talking to Dr. Aaron Chapa, and I believe the topic for today is like aches and pains, arthritis. As I've gotten older, I've noticed that there's things that I can feel in my body that I didn't know.
Feel at 18?
10 years ago, no, I couldn't feel it.
Yeah, I think one of the first lessons that we have to kind of approach this topic of inflammation is, if you look it up in the dictionary, it talks about it's a fire-like feeling in your body, in your joints, in your organs, in your head. Inflammation is something that we are all familiar with when we're injured, or if we get a bee sting, right? I mean, you twist your ankle. Like one of my patients came in last week, and he's I don't know, probably 18, and does this kick flip thing with his skateboard, and his foot rolls off the front of it. And he's saying somebody had this on video, and you just saw his ankle bend in a way that it wasn't designed to, and you go, like, I can't make the noise on the air because it pains me so to even watch what I saw. Like, I almost, I screamed out like, oh, like it was just like, oh, that's just not good. And instantly there's black and blue, there's instant swelling, there's instant trauma to the area. And if that's not, illustration enough, think about the last time, an ant bit you and it got all red, or a wasp or bee sting bit you and it got all red and inflamed. And what that is your body dealing with immune responses that these white blood cells, when they come to aid in the healing of tissue, they first have to attack whatever burden is there. So they come on the scene and they can create swelling. They can come on the scene to create redness. And that redness is basically an additional layer of tissue damage. Sometimes in order to clean up a mess, the fireman has to break the door down. There's going to be some damage in the control of fire in our body. And so people are very familiar with tissue damage as a biomechanical stress in their body that can create 10 layers of inflammatory, processes that cause our body to go into a repair state. But what about like this? I'm not 18 anymore. I'm 40 years old now, and I feel pain in my body in ways that I've never felt. I wake up stiffer than I've ever felt. It takes me 3 minutes, 15 minutes, 20, 30 minutes to kind of warm my joints up, so to speak. Or they constantly are feeling inflammation if it was a gouty type arthritis in their big toe or knee, that won't go away. These pains are just constant throbbing, constant agonizing, and constant aches and pain that is continually taking up real estate in their mind's attention throughout the day.
Okay, I got a question real quick, and this is good because I'm kind of wondering myself.
Sure.
So Mark Kovich, he's a young man. He's a young man. Maybe he's about my age, maybe a year older or so, right? So he's asking. He said, "Hey, how can I feel 21 again? Is there a way? If I'm not 21, I'm 33 years old, right?
Yeah.
But I would love to feel like I'm 21 because there is a difference. I mean, I feel pretty good, but is there a way where I can kind of turn back the clock?
The clock, so to speak. So I have patients continually come in that when I ask them, on a scale of 0 to 100, how do they feel? They'll tell me that they feel 50%, they feel 40%, they feel like they're an 80-year-old in a 25-year-old body. or a 35-year-old body. I mean, and it is younger. My original demographic was probably 35 to 55 years of age, and I'm going to say now patients are coming in younger and younger, even as young as 15. And I have kids all the way down to infants, but I mean these particulars with pains in their bodies, so to speak, even under 20 years old. And it has to do with, first, what is driving, if it's not trauma, what's driving the inflammatory burdens that are not just in your joints, they're manifesting in your joints, but the problems are actually in your organs. And what's driving that is what it is that we're putting in our body from a perspective of a food source. If we eat, let's just go with the obvious, cookies and candies, cakes, drink liquid sugar via soda pop, or anything that can convert. I mean, even alcohol can convert into sugar, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a multitude of things that are hidden and or obvious sugars. That sugar is in the top 14 most common food inflammatory burden catalyst. It will stimulate and drive inflammation in our body. And sugar's at in the top 14. I have it in the top 14 not because it's a real food, but it's an inflammatory burden that every person that's hearing my voice, or that will hear my voice, will deal with today, that will deal with tomorrow, and on throughout the years. Because sugar is in our society at a very mass production. So we look at, what does sugar do in our body? It tears down, just like you injured your leg or you got a bee sting and there's trauma. That sugar tears down tissues at the cellular level. It tears down the fatty acid layer. So the first thing that you could do, that patients love when I do this, they say, I feel amazing when I take, and it is cod liver oil. Fish oil is a huge issue of lack in our country today. I've never met one person with any condition, no matter what age, no matter what gender, no matter what ethnicity, all come in with an essential fatty acid burden, meaning they don't have enough healthy fats to drive healthy cellular process. And inside the cell of every body, you've got an internal cell wall and an external cell wall that's made up of a fatty acid layer. And that fatty acid should be in an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of about a 6-to-1 ratio. That 6-to-1 ratio today is more averaging around 30-to-1, and in a few rarities around 16-to-1. But I've got patients right now I could show you that are 97-to-1, and they're all under 20 years old. Mm-hmm. That's what's terribly fascinating, is fatty acids are a huge inflammatory fireman. They come in and they stop the fire from progressing. They start healing the fatty acid issues in the body, and it will start making your joints feel younger and more youthful, so that your body can feel like 21 again.
Man, that's a lot of information. Mark, I hope you wrote that down. He said he's a little bit older than me, and I was like, how old are you? And okay.
Well, simply put, fish oil, number one. That's an easy thing to make your joints feel young again. But I want you to understand the process. I want you to understand that it's not, your body is a machine, right?
Yeah.
It wants you to understand it so that you can better take care of it. And like you said, we're not going to perish for a lack of knowledge. I am full of knowledge and full of information and insight that I want to share with these folks.
Here's a question from Amber. She said, does natural sugar from fruit also cause inflammation? I feel like it's a great question.
It's a great question. The number one thing that we could all start to do to improve our inflammatory burden is to eat more vegetables. 2-to-1 in relationship to fruit. So for every fruit that you consume, you need to be doing 2 veggies to offset it. Now, which fruits are best? Obviously, the ones that are higher in what we call antioxidants. And antioxidants are basically little cellular firemen that go around and put out cellular inflammation in the houses. And that are lining we're made up of trillions and trillions of cells in our body, and if one of those is on fire, the body can just use these antioxidant molecules to go over and heal those. But where do those antioxidants get their fuel from? Nutrient dense vegetables. And in a world where we don't eat, but the average American's consuming between 1 to 3 vegetables a week, they need to be consuming 6 to 11 per day.
6 to 11 vegetables per day.
That would be ideal, right?
Right. So right now I'm on a pretty much like a veggie and protein nutritional plan, and I struggle. Like the protein, I'm like, okay, let's
It's
go.
easy.
Yeah, I'll eat some hamburger patty, or like I can eat steak, chicken, even pork, right?
Right.
But turkey, but the vegetables, sometimes it's hard to get enough in, and it's supposed to be about 50-50.
Yeah.
So that's where I've been struggling.
And so these are where but think about it this way: you're eating more than you ever did. So
Sure.
going back to, well, what fruits can we have? Berries are fantastic, and because the question is can we eat too much fruit? Well, if you eat a lot of grapes and a lot of bananas, those are high in fructose, and fructose can cause your body to stress out your liver, which can drive inflammation, which can then overwhelm the tissues and leave you in what we call a restorative repair deficit, and your body is degenerating faster than it's regenerating. Therefore, the inflammation is spreading. It's like a California wildfire. It just burns, and it takes weeks and weeks and weeks to put that stuff down until they can get the deficit under control. And your body's the same way. So, yes, too much fruit, especially, most Americans aren't eating 6 apples a day. They're drinking, 3 cups of apple juice a day, which how many apples did it take to get you that apple juice? 1 is a good question to consider on how much fruit you're putting in your body. And then 2, of those, there's none of the other cofactors, bioflavonoids, and other biochemical makeup of the apple present to offset that fructose. So now you're like injecting sugars straight into the vein. That can create massive amounts of inflammation.
Yeah.
And so we use in our office, we have a fructose burden guide, and it's out of the book Sugar Fix. And the book basically talks about how fructose is processed primarily by the liver. And when the liver's already overloaded, overwhelmed with the environmental chemicals and toxins we're exposed to, then the processed foods that it has to deal with day in and day out from all the junk food that we consume as a whole, then you put these fructose in as another compounding variable in its ability to keep up with its workload. Inflammation is paramount. Inflammation continues to ride out of control. Inflammation then stresses out other organ systems in your body, like your adrenal glands, and this basically creates levels of anxiety or anxiousness. So you could see where pain in your body now doesn't just live in the joints anymore. It could be manifesting, if you will, and it can make the stretch. Pain could be anxiety for you. Pain could be brain fog for you. Pain could be migraines for you. And the pain in the body that you're having is where your body's just pushing it. And this just is what we call a repetitive cycle that feeds back into the stress pathway that drives 10 inflammatory processes, causes more and more tissue damage, and then continues in that deficit pathway. That's the spread.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got to interrupt that. And so we manage the amount of vegetable to fruit intake that you're getting in. We try to get you to get off the liquid sugar onto water again, and an abundance of water. What's our ratio? 1 liter per 50 pounds of body weight. You'll never go wrong if you're a 30-pound kid or if you're a 300-pound sumo wrestler. You're always going to be able to know where your water intake needs to be, and this helps to make sure that your body is getting new water to dilute the concentration of inflammatory toxicity in your body. Because if your body can handle it, it'll pee it out, sweat it out, breathe it out, poop it out. If your body cannot handle the inflammation that's going on, then guess what happens?
It turns up into like
Pain.
issues. Yeah.
Yeah. And so these are just some of the concepts. But like, what's another way we can measure this? So in our office, what we do is we'll have people do what's a urinary pH. And we're looking at their urine pH. We'll even look at their oral pH, preferably oral first, and then we see that the inflammation is manifesting in what we call secondary and tertiary buffering mechanisms. And if your inflammation buffering system is off in your urine or your oral pH, salivary pH, we know that the blood is under potential inflammatory stress. And so how can we manage that? Well, so we've talked about cod liver oil as a way to manage the inflammatory burden. We've talked about over-consuming sugar, over-consuming fruit even, as what we'd all think is good for us. and then incorporating more vegetables into our diet. Well, we could then come in with nutritionally dense minerals. So I'm a big mineral fanatic. And without minerals, it would be like me pulling the plug on our radio station today with one fell swoop. If I knew where the master plug was and I pulled it right now, everybody would have radio silence and it would be a bummer, right?
Yeah.
And without minerals, your body is living the bummer life. You've got to have minerals in order to function well. You've got to have minerals to make your brain function, your body's ability to detox function, your immunological system to kick in and to fire off and rebuild and strategize against bacterium that we're exposed to or pathogens that we're exposed to day in and day out.
Right now it's 9:14. This is KHEAradio.com, 99.5 FM. If you're watching on Facebook, hit the share button because there are people on your Facebook stream. I promise that we'll be able to learn from the information that we're sharing today. Also doing so, you'll have an opportunity to win a pair of tickets, a pair of passes to the Bay Area Houston Women's Conference that's taking place this Friday at the South Shore Harbor Hotel and Resort. So make sure you do that and let me know if you want to go, and we can see if we can get that worked out as well. So there's a couple things that you shared. You shared, about a liter of water, trying to drink a liter of water per 50 pounds of body weight. I feel like you're not going to do that on accident. You have to be on purpose.
That's
the
right.
other thing that we talked about is 6 to 11 servings of vegetables. And here was a comment earlier saying, how do you get 6 to 11 servings of vegetables in your diet? Because you have to be even more strategic, with that than you do with the water, because the water's easy.
Absolutely. And so one of the ways that we could do is we have to start looking at, like, do we always have to have breakfast food for breakfast? No.
Right.
We could totally change it up. So many people see me when I go to Skipper's there in South Shore, they know what I'm going to order every time. I just come in and they just order my food for me because I eat the same thing every time. I never deviate.
What is it?
And it's a...
What can I guess?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say what the average person probably eats for breakfast, and then I'm going to say what you probably eat for breakfast.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the average person, I'm thinking they have like pancakes, maybe a pastry, cup of coffee, lots of creamer, and then maybe optional on the side, an egg or some bacon, right? But mainly the thing is like with the syrup, pancakes, waffles, donuts, let's go. And I enjoy all those things too.
Absolutely say all day long. Yeah, that's
now,
the
Dr.
average.
Chapa, you probably have a salad.
Yeah.
A salad for breakfast.
So when I go in there, I get a small Greek salad with no feta, no pita, and Euro meat. And that's what I get every time. And the dressings on the side. Not that there's anything necessarily wrong with it. It's just that, it's just a habit. Like, one of the things that I do is I create little habits, and if I can get the dressings on the side, I'm going to be exposed to, out to eat wise, less sugar than if I just pour any random dressing over my, salad. And then I'll dip my Euro meat in it a little bit. I'm what they call a dipper, and I like to dip stuff in salsas and green sauces and the dressings and whatnot. And so we have to start looking at mealtime is fuel time. Mealtime is fuel time. And if we look at what is driving inflammation in our bodies, so again, if you've got, pain in your shoulders, pain in your neck, pain in your back, pain in your hips, pain in your knees, pain in your feet, there is a inflammatory burden going on. Most of the time it's immunological, but immunologically it's being driven by something dietarily, basically a leaky digestive tract. We've got to stop that leak and restore the digestive burden. And so we then could have some raw veggies or slightly, steamed veggies for mid-morning snack, and instead of all of the, fruit that we normally consume, or protein bars that we eat, the cereal snack bars that are laden with sugar and all kinds of other, fillers and things that our body doesn't need. And then we look at lunch, and again, it's meat and veggies. Every time, even growing up, like if we eat at home, we eat at home now, we go out to eat. My mom and I, if we're together, we split meals. I always try to split meals with my wife, but my wife says, no, I have to eat my own meal because she won't share with me. But she can eat more than I can. She always would come to my house as a kid, when we were dating in high school, and she'd leave the house hungry. And I'm like, why didn't you eat more? She goes, well, there was only like 2 courses. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? She goes, well, at my house we have 5 courses. And
5
I'm like,
courses?
well,
what are the courses?
What, from my when I grew up?
Well, I mean, like, if you have 2 courses, like, what are the 2 courses? Me,
growing up,
it's like you get spaghetti, and I'm like, sweet.
Yeah,
I'm gonna eat it.
Would be green beans and meat. I mean, or we'd have Brussels sprouts and meat, or we'd have a salad and meat and another vegetable.
So what was
or
your wife
squash.
eating growing up? I'm just curious. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
it was meat and potatoes family for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, your traditional, one night a week it was fried food. We had fried food growing up. Don't get me wrong, but this is whenever we were at a time of my parents' life where they were trying to get healthy and making dietary changes. We didn't eat as much of the fried stuff, but Tiffany has got like a hollow legs or something. Like she can just eat and eat and eat, and she's got a great metabolism. And so she won't share with me, but anytime I can share, I do, because I don't really need a lot of food per se, but I definitely eat foods in ratios that feed my body the nutritional density that it needs. And I'm not perfect all the time. Give me a break, but but I really strive, just like I'm teaching you guys. I mean, you're not going to catch me eating a fast food burger and fries with a side of ice cream. I'm just not doing it. Those days are over. So the old saying, as a child I thought like a child, and as an adult I got to start thinking not like a child as much. I need to have childlike faith, but I can't think and act like a child like I used to.
Or eat like a child at times.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun to do those things, right? But really and truly, nothing, and get this, everybody, nothing below your taste buds want you to put fire-hot, inflammatory food in your body. And we just talked about sugar, which brings me to just remind everybody, on October 24th, we have a Let's Talk Sugar talk at our office. Timely, I think.
Before the 31st.
Of course.
There might be some candy floating around.
Yeah. And so Let's Talk Sugar is going to be just talking about the different levels of impact sugar has on our bodies. Because if it was introduced into our society today, it would be a controlled substance. And if we can get people to recognize that they are overeating sugar, we have sugar quizzes. We have all kinds of stuff that we got out of Nancy Appleton's book, Lick the Sugar Habit. She, just talked a lot about making the case that sugar today should be a controlled substance, not a delicacy that is widespread and available to children walking through the checkout counter at ankle level, so that they can reach down there and snag it. Mommy, can I have this? Mommy, can I have that? Well, mom's like busy, trying to pay and how's she gonna get all this cooked for dinner and and it slips in the cart, and the kid's over there gobbling down a candy bar that they don't need. And so it's just a new game to play. We have to look at mealtime as fuel time, and nothing below your taste buds wants you to eat inflammatory, laden food. And so these are the things that are driving a rapid decline of degeneration in our body. And we can measure this going back to that conversation of pH testing. Just get a litmus test paper and put it in your mouth. And if you can't get it to 7.2 to 7.4, then you're acidic. And when your body is acidic, if you can't get your urine pH to 6.4 to 7, then you're acidic. And when you have this high level of acidity in your body, you're going to find inflammation is running rampant from head to toe. It's no longer is it just arthritis. It's headaches and migraines. It could be adrenal fatigue, where you're mentally challenged through the day. You fall asleep mid-afternoon, and you're thinking, man, I need another coffee, or I need another this or that. We can look and say, all right, if I'm acidic, what do I do about it? It goes back to this mineral conversation. We start filling your body up full of good, healthy minerals every day. People come in and say, I can't take another supplement. Well, then eat 6 to 11 servings of vegetables every day.
I can't do that either.
No.
Maybe split it half and half.
Yeah, I mean, something, right? I mean, because, again, this is the challenge that I have in practice, and anybody that does any type of functional medicine does in practice. And God bless you all, that are on the mission with me to give people alternatives to drugs and surgery, is the goal is we are selling an intangible, something that you cannot see. But we know beyond a shadow of a doubt, if you live well and you act well and you are well today, and you set the course, you're going to find yourself in a healthier destination place 20 years from now, 35, 45, 55, 65 years from now. And so who wants to be 70 and broken? I want to be 70 and fully alive. I used to like this one guy said, I want to be 75 and fully alive. I want to be like, Russell Jaffe, who says, I'm going to be 120 dancing, and I want you with me. So, what I've always said to patients is I want to be fully functional in spirit, mind, and body all the days of my life, 125 years. And so people go, why in the heck would you want to live that long? Because I want to maximize the gift that God's given me here on earth to be a blessing to Him first and foremost, and honoring the very thing He gave me to take care of. Romans 12:1 says, I beseech thee, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable, which is your reasonable service. That's my call, is to take care of my body, and not to beat it up, not to abuse it, to recognize everything that I do day in and day out, whether I'm getting good sleep, whether I'm putting in good fuel, whether I'm putting in good drink, whether I'm breathing in clean, good air, whether I'm managing and handling my stresses. All these things are inflammatory burdens that are driving inflammatory processes that are potentially causing me to go into a deficit, and I want to interrupt the deficit. I don't want to be in health debt.
Yes.
AKA disease.
We were talking about here in the United States, at least, a lot of the times emphasis is not placed on preventative at all. And I think there's a lot of reasons why, because there's a lot of money to be made in medication, and and that's, we're not going to touch on that too much.
Model.
But you look at it as an extra cost. Like, I have to get supplements, I have to buy, look at organic, or I'm looking at vegetables. Fast food is cheap. I can go buy a burger for $1, or I can, make dinner. It costs my time and stuff. But that's an investment, right?
Well, and look at it this way. Like, I see people all the time. You either pay now or you pay later, okay? I mean, because to your point, you're starting to realize, hey, I'm not 18 anymore. I'm feeling things in my body that I didn't used to feel. Patients come in all the time. Man, I got the case of the suddenlies. I used to be able to do this. I used to be able to do that. But now all of a sudden I can't. Mm-hmm. And that's because the body's inflammatory processes are no longer just, circumvent to the joints of the body. That's just a symptom. Your body stores toxins in 3 places: in the brain, aka brain fog, headaches. They store it in the fat cells, aka I can't lose weight and I've tried everything, and in the joints, and that's called arthritis. That's all, and what I like to call arthralgias, because there's nothing rightus about it. So we want people to realize that they don't have to live that way. But there are tons of people that say, I don't have time, I don't have the resources, I don't have this, that, the other, and what happens is they spend the first half of their life trying to get the dollars, and then they spend all those dollars on trying to regain and capitalize their health on the backside of their life.
Yeah, treating themselves, doctors, appointments, medication.
Yeah, that's right. And so it is expensive to get sick, and so if you're buying fake food, the best you'll ever have is
fake health.
Make believe health or fake health. And I help if people recognize that and see that, and then find the correlations. Well, which foods are really driving my body out of sorts, and how can I help people see that? Well, we have people track food logs in the office, and we evaluate their food. We look at what they're eating day in and day out, because just like Dave Ramsey talks about, if you don't know where you're spending your money, you can't solve the problems. And you can't solve a problem at the same level it was created. So we have to do some things differently. So we have people start tracking this food, and we start looking at. I just looked at one yesterday, and I just showed her where she's getting into still too much obvious sugars and some hidden sugars that she didn't realize. But outside of that, her diet looked pretty good, and she's feeling good. But this past week, she fell off the wagon a little bit, and she said her rosacea started coming back, which is the butterfly rash around the cheeks, which is just the blood vessels starting to rupture and get weak because of inflammation from the amount of sugar she was consuming. As she started getting brain fog again and tired, and it was that fast, because also sugar feeds yeast in the body. These inflammatory foods like dairy, wheat, corn, and soy started inflaming her digestive tract and robbing her body of good health.
Yeah, here's a comment. This is from Shauna. Good morning, Shauna. She said, I feel like there's also so much information out there that even when you're trying to learn and do better, one person says one thing and somebody else says another, and it's all backed up by information, making it very hard to know what is right and what is not.
Oh, Shauna, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, we are living in the age of information, and it just so happens I'm looking at just a random page open, and it says right here, I'll just kind of flash it up here, loaves and fishes. loaves and fishes. This is not the age of information. This is not the age of information. Forget the news. Forget the radio and the blurred screen. This is the time of loaves and fishes. People are hungry, and one good word is bread for 1,000. David White said that. And here's the deal, you've got to definitely trust the source of information you're going after. If you're trusting Dr. Google, you're in for a wild ride. You're going to be scared to death most of your life. You're going to be worried sick about being worried sick. You're going to have so many challenges. I'm not saying don't do your homework. I'm not saying don't do your research. But if you don't trust where you're buying your supplements, where you're getting information on what to take. Like in my office, my mentor, he's 72 years old. He looks fantastic. He looks amazing, and he is as lively and bubbly in everything that I would hope to, aspire to with respect to health and energy and vitality and knowledge and mind sharpness that he could be at 72. He's an inspiration to anybody that's in the functional medicine realm across the country, across the world, and has made a big difference. He's done this over 45 years and almost 50,000 case files. I mean, he's just by the groves is helping the masses. And information is paramount. So, I can tell you for certain, my message is this. I've been at 2 seminars, this month alone. My office staff are going to seminars, and we're all learning and growing. We teach classes on the stuff that we're sharing, from world leaders, people that are movers and shakers in the industry. Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center is in the forefront trenches of helping make sure that the light is shed bright on the next healthy path and step for your life. And I can, attest to it because I'm following the footsteps, standing on the shoulders of giants. People that have gone before me have got the research, the experience, and the beautiful thing is, as one of the mentors even said, Mark Anderson, 4 weeks ago, whenever we were in Colorado, he says we can't use Dr. Royal Lee's, who started Standard Process 100 years plus ago, to back up Royal Lee. We have to wait for modern day research to start proving what Royal Lee said back in 1912. And that's starting to happen. This guy was a way ahead of his time, blessing from above to like shed light and insight, and was mocked, ridiculed, but yet, interestingly enough, every supplement company that we see today builds their protocols around what Standard Process and Royal Lee started out in 1912. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing to me, like the research is starting to prove what he was talking about all those years. And I mean, even when there wasn't vocabulary to describe it, he was describing autoimmunity in the 50s. And so information age, you're right, it is overwhelming. And that's why Living Well wants to be your first choice. We want you to know that you can trust the information that we're sharing, and then you can go and find research to back up what we're doing. But what you're going to find is what we're teaching isn't rocket science. A lot of times people make it so complicated. Yeah, I'm asking you to eat a non-breakfast food for breakfast, but really, is that complicated? Or is it just like, oh, I didn't think I could do that. I thought I had to eat waffles and donuts and, the sugar foods. Well, that's called good marketing. And it takes 3 generations to denature and destroy an entire civilization, and it all starts with media. If you go look at Schaefer, I think it's Francis Schaeffer. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but it's called "How Then Should We Live," and I think it's called is by Francis Schaeffer, and he talks about all media, even in the Roman days. You can see where the media was driving the time. It was driving the ways of people's thinking. Yeah. And so this is not a new problem. It's just we have more access ports to hear the volume switch of bad information to be competing with good information, and sometimes it's hard to tell. And so through prayer and supplication, we present our request to the Lord. Lord, give me wisdom. Lord, give me knowledge. James 1 says he'll give you knowledge. He'll give you knowledge without finding fault, and he will lead you and guide you in every way of your path. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. There's 3 different passages there. And amazing that, the word is the one thing that we always go back to help truth. And so one of my mentors, first before I started in school, he said, all right, Aaron, every time you sit down and read a textbook, you pray over the textbook. You pray God give you the knowledge and insight that He needs you to glean from that. Because, my biggest frustration is that all the research always talks about, evolution as a foundation, that almost to trust the research, I have to trust evolution. Well, that ain't going to fly, And so I have to recognize and be able to wrestle with the knowledge and research of the day. How does the physiology work? Understanding the source might be a little bit skewed, but appreciate that God is also speaking through the donkeys. And in this case, I'm okay being a donkey if I have to be to get you a message.
Whenever it comes to conflicting information out there, I look at losing weight. I look at working out. There's so many different programs you can do. And yeah, some of them may be good, but there's ways you can lose weight that aren't necessarily healthy for you.
Yeah,
you'll
get
results.
in the closet. Don't eat. You'll lose weight. But that's not that good weight.
And so I'm looking at like health, and sometimes it takes people getting to that point where like, I can't deal with this inflammation anymore. And then you have to, to be able to try something different. And I urge you to try it, to try something and see if it works for you, because it may be perfect for you.
Yeah.
Or you may struggle with it and like, I can't stick with this.
And here's the thing too, like, a doctor who finds himself a patient, and he finds himself a fool for a doctor and a fool for a patient. Dr. Chapa doesn't treat himself. Dr. Chapa gets worked on. I've got great docs that touch me, work on me, make me my body perform like it's supposed to. I get other doctors to test me and look at my blood work with me, and look at and do different testing methods with me to find out what it is that I'm lacking in. And I mean, this is how the game is played. It's kind of a neat thing, because it forces a level of community to happen where we're leaning and trusting on each other. Let us stir up love and good works. Let us consider one another in order to stir up love and good works, Hebrews 9:24 and 25. Like, it just gets me excited, because we have to lean on each other and trust that somebody else might be able to give us the insight we need, because we can't solve all of our own problems.
Okay, right now it is 9:35 a.m. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5. Feel free to share this out. Tag a friend. We're talking about health, nutrition, aches and pains, inflammation, how you can get rid of it. Also, let me know if you want to go to the Bay Area Houston Women's Conference in the comment stream if you're watching on Facebook, because we're giving away 2 pairs of tickets. It's on Friday. So here's a comment. This is from Callie. It's a question. And we've been talking about sugar, natural sugars in fruit, sugar that's artificial, sugar that's going in drinks, right? So the comment says, what is your opinion on, and I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, MANUKA honey, Manuka honey, or honey in general?
Yeah. So, again, it all comes down to volume. How much are you putting in? I mean, if you're going to put in groves and groves of it, it's going to be overkill and can potentially create a problem.
Yeah, I see my wife sometimes in tea, like instead of putting in sugar, just put like a organic honey.
And the reality is, I'd say local honey is always best. Something that's from your local area. You're going to get the pollens. You're going to get, it can help with allergies. It can help with all kinds of things, and you can expose your body to low doses of these antigens, and it could be what we call hormetic. Hormetic is basically your body being challenged and upregulating itself and overcoming the challenge. It almost becomes a strategic force to be contended with. And but you can get, and I've seen this a time or two. This happened to me, and I don't do them ever. But those little cool honey sticks, right? If I take that whole honey stick and I went, and I just like sucked all the honey out of there, I'd feel great for about 5 minutes. I'd be like, woo! Like a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
But then I'd be in the toilet and exhausted and brain fogged and potentially headachy, because I caused a massive shift in blood sugar. So honey absolutely can affect your blood sugar. So it comes down to volume. And so I love honey. We use honey at our house. I love honey with the comb, still in it. And I chew up that comb and get all of that. I want all that pollen and all that, whatever the bees have put in there, as a graceful immunological hormetic stimuli. Absolutely use honey, but again, volume. You've got to know what can your body tolerate, and if it's the old conversation, do you want a little bit of coffee with your sugar? It's probably a little bit too much.
When you were describing the honey and the honeycomb, do you like the good effects that, like you said, like the pollen and all the stuff that the bee, do you like that more than the actual taste of the honey?
Yes, absolutely.
Really?
And so I'm like, it's my way of telling the bee thank you. That's stupid, but I mean
A little bit. No.
but the reality is that's how my brain is wired
I
up.
know.
Like I do things because it's good for me, and because I'm committed to longevity and I'm committed to wellness. And am I always perfect? No, man, I'm really not. But I do more things right than wrong. And one of my mentors told me a long time ago, and not the same one. I mean, these are 5 different people I've referenced in this talk today. And he says all the time, he goes, I've always stood behind the 70% rule, because if you're moving forward 70% of your day, 70% of your week, 70% of your month, and you're there 70% of your year, and then you're only kind of backsliding 30%, well, you're still a net positive return of 40%. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I'm moving forward, right? I'm always moving forward. And if I'm moving forward, I'm not going back. And we have to make sure that we're not going backwards, because every society that's ever kind of gotten stagnant, they atrophy, and the same with the body. The body constantly wants to be awesome. The brain constantly wants to be stimulated. And we've got to make sure that we're doing things as we age, because, the older we get and the slower we get. I mean, even Billy Graham talked about this, great, Christian evangelist. I finished his autobiography, and one of the things that he talked about in the book was, I am comfortable with death, right? He knows where he's going. He's comfortable with with what's to come. But he goes, nobody prepared me for the aging process. Nobody prepared me for what it would be like for my mind to get a little slower, for my body to not be able to run months and months and months, these big meetings, for my voice to be able to carry, those many hours that I would need to carry. And he says, that was, an eye-opening moment when I realized, oh, this earth suit is coming to a close. Like, I've taken it as far as God's going to allow, and this is the game that I have to deal with now. It's a new game. And at every stage of our lives, one of the challenges as we get older that drive inflammation in our body is an irritated digestive tract. So you're a giant tube from your mouth to your behind, okay? So if an ant crawled in your mouth and worked his way through your whole system and went out your behind, he technically never went inside your body. That was a weird concept for me the first time I heard it. We are a tube from top to bottom. And so we have to say, okay, well, when things get across the gut barrier, that gut barrier is inviting digestive processes to come across, these molecules to be in a way that the blood can carry it. If it gets across the blood, the digestive barrier any other way, as an undigested foreign body that is, a protein still, not an amino acid, and that's coming across as a pathogen, a bacteria or parasite or fungus or a yeast or a virus, if it comes across that leaky gut, so to speak, that leaky digestive tract, it creates a massive amount of systemic inflammation in the body. Well, we have to get in there and do blood down-regulating inflammatory responses, but you got to first seal the leak. Mm-hmm. You got to heal the digestive tract. That's why 80% of the work that I do is in the digestive tract. If you're dealing with skin, if you're dealing with headaches, if you're dealing with joint issues, if you're dealing with heart issue, if you're dealing with any type of issue, allergies, we always look at sealing and healing the digestive tract, because as we get older, that digestive tract is thinning, and we've got to slow that thinning process down by making sure you got adequate digestive enzymes, adequate stomach acid production. So in the elderly population, one of the things that I for sure always do, on top of the cod liver oil, on top of the minerals, on top of helping you just recognize as you're overeating sugar and stop doing as much of that and incorporate more healthy vegetables and drinking more fluids, is thicken that gut lining. We've got to seal and heal the gut. So we use things like L-glutamine. We use things like the essential fats from the fish oil. We use vitamin A and C, antioxidants. We use things to restore microflora of pre and probiotics, to heal and re-inoculate the bowel as much as possible, so that you've got enough good guys on the front lines helping that digestive process manifest, because then you can absorb those minerals, use those minerals, and put out the pH acidity that our bodies are carrying day in and day out.
As we were talking about inflammation, there was a question that came in from Ashley, and she was wondering about sesame seed oil and ways to treat inflammation. Because obviously, with your food, but is there additional things that you can take that can help, alleviate?
Yeah. So, and that's why I was trying to kind of recap some of what we just talked about. And so when we look at one of my favorite things is turmeric forte. It's a fenugreek / turmeric product. It's 45 times stronger than turmeric by itself that you're sprinkling on your food, and it can be highly anti-inflammatory and help the body. We could use things like CBD oil. We could use things like vitamin A and C. We can use black cumin seed. There are a laundry list. I use sesame seed oil whenever the inflammation is typically being driven by a immune problem. Okay, and I don't use sesame seed oil out of a jar. So when the minute the air starts hitting it, it rancidifies to a point where it doesn't have the same immunological effect on your body as if it was processed right out the seed. And so we use the sesame seed oil pearls, these little pearls that have been tampered with very little and very quickly recapsulated into a gel cap, where it still gives you that immunological boost. Discovered this working with AIDS patients that have low T cell counts. And one of the ways that we are able to get their immune system to pop and get an elevation in immune challenges that they couldn't fix otherwise is high levels of sesame seed oil pearls. And literally people's T cell counts that were challenged were coming up. And we saw that, okay, how's that working? And it stimulates the bone marrow to produce more white blood cells. And so it increases the production of your body's defenses. So sesame seed oil is a great choice. And so I'm choosy about when. So like, let's say it was joint issues, right? And it's weird too. Like, I don't know if people realize this, that there could be 70% of 100 people having no pain in their back at all, do an MRI and they'd have a herniated disc. And they don't even know it. 60%, 65% or so could have a torn labrum in their shoulder rotator cuff injury and never have a symptom. So I always find that fascinating to me, that just because you have a tear in an area that doesn't need a tear, or a disc bulge in an area that isn't needing a bulge, doesn't necessarily mean that you will have pain or aka inflammation. Now, it doesn't mean that you couldn't be out, getting in a fight with a weed in your yard and pull too hard and pull your back out and irritate an area that causes a chain reaction of inflammation that creates an increased amount of blood flow, swelling, and white blood cell proliferation to come in and try to do a tissue repair, and then that activate that disc to be an issue. But most people are walking around with problems in their body right now, even though they have no symptoms. And I think that's just the fascinating wonder of the human anatomy.
Is that the human body kind of like spotlighting it, saying, hey, I can still operate?
Absolutely. I mean, and a lot of times, sometimes doesn't even spotlight it. I mean, it's just like, well, I'll deal with that another time, right? But there's then some people have constant issues with their body, and I think a lot of it's driven by the chemicals that we're exposed to in our environment, that they're exposed to the bad, preservatives and the processing of our food, the fact that we just have been living on make-believe food for, 20, 30 years of our lives, and it's just finally caught up to us. We've worn out our body's ability to break down fake food because we haven't given the body the density of nutrition to restore the deficits that we're walking around with.
Yeah, speaking of the deficit, I love whenever you make that explanation of having almost like a health bank. The more good stuff you put in there, your health bank kind of gets, excess. It's
That's
just
right.
like a bank with money.
How else are we going to go the distance? I mean, how am I going to be 125 fully functional in spirit, mind, and body?
Mm-hmm.
People go, well, God, you could get hit by a car tomorrow. Well, that's true. That's absolutely true, but I can't worry about stuff like that, right? All I can do is plan for how I want my life to look after I've done built it. And so I'm setting my sights high and maximizing my efficiency now so that I can enjoy, having the capacity to be here on the radio, to go home and spend time with my kiddos, or to hang out with my family when I get a chance, or to build a relationship, or to expand a business, or to do something, just extraordinary for Jesus. I mean, there's so much that we can get caught up in life, and health drives that. I mean, people that have headaches and people that have joint pains and people that are always in a level of fight or flight stresses, those people are always dealing with the urgent, not necessarily the important. And I want to get to where I can focus on the important because I've got a lot of the urgent fires under control. And so the bank has to be tended. The garden has to be cultivated. And the health garden is a cultivated process. It means that you have to work it, you know?
Yeah. Dr. Chapa, why do you think you were put here on this planet?
Well, ultimately, I mean, I'm going to give you the Bible answer, you know, is to glorify the Lord. You know, ultimately, you know, everything is about praise and worship to the King. And secondarily, you know, to be an inspiration and encourage other people to find Jesus in their life, you know, and I think that's round two. And then number three is probably to take care of my family and lead them well, generation to generation. The seeds that I sow into my gift that God's given me through a wife and children is for the next generation and the next generation. You know, when in the Proverbs people say, well, I'm going to leave a legacy that lasts, you know, to my children's children, right? Well, it doesn't always mean money. It's knowledge. You know, I'm having conversations with my son that are amazing. Like, I get to do that. I get to pour in to the next generation that will affect the next generation. And I get to have conversations and inspire my little ones to do great things. And then I get to, and out of my overflow, I'm able to go above and beyond that and reach the masses and be a light, a beacon of light for people that are hurting, that are people that need an answer to their challenges. And dude, I am busy, and but I hope that I'm not busy like being under Satan's yoke. I hope that I'm being productive in a way that is being an inspiration to help people say that, you know what, I can do this. You know, I can figure out how to eat 6 vegetables a day. You know, and don't look at 6 to 11. Start with 6. You know, don't even worry about 6. Just start with 2 to 1 ratio on your vegetable to fruit ratio.
Maybe even do 1 a day. Like if some people aren't even vegetables at all.
Start somewhere. And so like you were saying earlier to everybody, try something, do something. Like Whole30 is a great book. You know, the High Metabolism Diet's a great book. The Keto Diet, a great book to start kind of researching and understanding and learning how to incorporate this stuff into your health, because, you know, it's all fun and games until you get diagnosed with cancer. Yeah. It's all fun and games until your thyroid's about to get obliterated by radioactive iodine because nobody's giving you better tools. You know, it's and those are serious things that people are walking around dealing with day in and day out. And I want to, you know, wake people up, shake people, and say, hey, you know, there's a better way. Follow me. I know how to get to Oz. You know, I've been there. I met him, the wizard.
He's real.
He's real,
and it works.
He's not just behind the curtain.
You know, for today for lunch, I got steamed Brussels sprouts, and I got some zucchini that was sautéed, and then I got a hamburger patty. And you know,
delish.
I used to not always eat that way, you know, no joke, but there's a lot, you know, obviously, you know, my relationship with you and hanging out once a week at least, you know, for over a year, I feel like I've learned a lot, and I can say that it works, and I feel better. My skin looks better. I'm able to be more active with my kids and work out harder and do things that I want to do and I need to do here at KHEA and in my life and for my family and for God in a way that, you know, whenever you're eating places that I love, you know, fast food like all the time, it's just, you're just not able to do it. You feel sluggish.
Absolutely right. And and again, this is what is so fun, but also such a challenge, because it is almost a walk by faith thing, because there's no way to put Gardy fast food man and Gardy healthy man side by side. But we all know and have heard and seen stories where, you know, you've got identical twins that have the same genotype, the same blueprint, but yet one of them lives a reckless life and they, you know, have a raspy smoker's cough, you know, voice. And then you've got the, you know, one that didn't live that way and they don't have the wrinkly skin, or they don't have the, you know, that decrepity kind of ratchety cough or even voice. And you start wondering, man, I wonder what was different. They had the same blueprint, but they expressed something different, which means even though you might have heart disease in your family like I have in mine, doesn't mean that you have to die from it. You can express a better gene that you have to activate in your body if you just feed it and nourish it. But unfortunately, a lot of diseases today that are quote unquote genetic, they're not genetic. I want people to really grab that. They're not genetic. They're familiar, which means people never do what they want to do. They only do what they know how to do. And they only know how to do what they were taught to do. And so until you're retrained, so going back to Shauna's question or statement about the overloaded of information, you better know the source. You better trust where you're going. I tell patients all day, every day, I get into relationships with them at a deep level that they're not going to have with just anybody. We're going to have challenges, and we're going to get to know each other. We're going to work through the struggles of life. And until, and I'm not going to quit on them. They're going to have to quit on my process, because I'm going forward. I have a plan. I'm going places, and I want as many people to follow me into the promised land of milk and honey as possible.
So we've touched a little bit on, I think October 24th, y'all are having a sugar talk.
That's right.
And that's going to be at your office?
Yep. And we also have Mommy Meetup October 21st at Walter Hart Park from 9 to 11. And that's going to be a fun event, too, that we've been doing for the last almost 6 months, I think, where moms, whether if you got time over lunch, or, homeschool parents, or anybody that's, available, show up, and you'll be surprised. I mean, there are a lot of people that just need the community, that just need to know that they're not the only one out there that's working through these challenges.
When I was talking to Lisa Piper with Natural Living, she was mentioning her kids, and so they're at an age where, like 19 and 18, she said that her kids, and this is her words, like, man, Mom, can we not, I don't want to be known as the granola, the nut kids or whatever. And she was just like, well, this is, I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting statement, but being with like-minded people, and what she does is it's the way it was intended to be, living in a more natural way.
No doubt about it.
And so, but I feel like it's very important to have community and communion with people who kind of believe those same ideals, and to get outside of your comfort zone and to meet people. That event on the 24th at your office, is that free? What does it take? Who's invited and who can attend?
Anybody's invited to come and attend the event, Let's Talk Sugar, on the 24th of October. That is at my office. And then the Mommy Meetup is for anybody also. So October 21st, Walter Hart Park, if you're available, come, be a part, and see what you learn, see who you can meet, because, everything's about connections, and you're going to connect with somebody, I assure you.
I have to get some clarification, because I attempted to go to the Mommy Meetup, and they told me I was not invited. So
I guess it does have a little stickler in there, a Mommy Meetup, meaning, okay, probably somebody that's in a like mind of mommies. So you got to fit that bill, and
just making sure.
Yeah, hey, just like at the women's conference, maybe they got a guy's table,
a dad's table at the Mommy Meetup.
We could have a dad's table at the Mommy Meetup. So I'm sure they wouldn't turn you away. I'm a part of quite a few women's lives that are mommies, and they allow me to be a part of it, thankfully.
Yeah. Well, just give me the vouch. He's cool.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Hey, I don't know if I had. I don't think you had the opportunity to know, but we're going to have a baby. My wife is pregnant.
What?
And we're having a baby in March.
That is the fantastic news. Congratulations, yeah. Gardy.
Thank you.
Ding, ding, ding. If I can share like. This is awesome, dude. Congrats.
So I'll have to
baby
send my
number
wife.
2, huh?
Yes.
And
so I have a son as well. So he's 6. And then me and my wife, we have a daughter that's 2.
Okay.
And then it's a little boy.
Awesome.
So
you already know what it is.
Yes.
So you know that Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, I will tout how confident and proud I am of our prenatal programs. I've worked hard over the years to build an amazing prenatal program. And
what does that look like? What's it entail? My wife's probably listening.
Yeah, so it involves, obviously nutrients that will help not just your brain but baby brain development, to make sure that we're nourishing and cultivating a healthy uterus, making sure that baby's got a wonderful playground to develop and develop into. And then we come in with basic building blocks to make sure that her endocrine hormonal system is intact, so that she doesn't mooch on little Gardy in the womb. And so, because a lot of times postpartum can be prevented, and it's preventable by making sure that mom has a strong, robust endocrine axis. It's one of my first plays in making sure people's health gets on the right track, is strengthening the pituitary, hypothalamic, thyroid, adrenal, gonadal axis, and making sure that the baby is not being mooched on, because the mom's adrenals will mooch on the baby's adrenals if mom is weak and undernourished. And then when the baby comes out, there's nothing left for mom, and mom now crashes, aka postpartum, and she struggles for the first 9 months for a number of reasons and issues that are, again, workable. We can fix and help and restore these weak areas if you are a postpartum, and we can prevent it if you are in development and your wife is in development. And then we come in with just obvious basic building blocks. So and that could be essential fatty acids, vitamins, and minerals. So it's very, very robust. It's nothing synthetic. We're not going to have prenatals that are going to have fillers and dyes and preservatives in there. And then we have a diet that we put together. It's a lower carb diet, of course, because we want to build a torpedo baby. And that means, and you're thinking, a what baby? And I'm saying, yeah, a torpedo baby. You'll remember this. A baby that has a small head and small shoulders that fires out of the tube like it's supposed to in a safe way, so that you have a low risk pregnant delivery. So that's ultimately what we're after. And this is what we work with people on. Mm-hmm. And so I've been working with, at all times in practice, I always have at least 5 prenatal cases under care, and I'm always thankful to watch people evolve. So it's one of these things that over the last 14 years I've really cultivated a very powerful prenatal program and want people to be a part of it. And so if you are pregnant, Mrs. Gardy, come on in, and no pressure. And then if you are pregnant out there in Facebook land, TV land, radio land, give us a call, 281-554-8600. And at Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center, we believe that all life starts and stops at the cellular level. And nutrition is the fundamental backbone that will allow your body to either spiral out of control or get traction and start moving in a direction that you want it to. No matter what you're dealing with, no matter what symptoms you're dealing with, no matter where you're at on your health journey, no matter what age you are, no matter what you've been told, let us give you a different answer. Let us give you a different way of looking at your health and see if we can get your vitality, your vibrancy back, or if we can get your longevity to kick in, and that you can live fully functional in spirit, mind, and body all the days of your life. And I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that it's possible. And I believe it just is a choice, and it is your choice. It's your life, it's your health, it's your choice. And if you start making better choices, if you start getting better vision, if you start having better insight and information to come in and people to trust, Living Well wants to be that trusted source. 281-554-8600, or visit our website at justlivewell.com. We got all kinds of great new stuff coming and evolving and making things shake, rattle, and roll out there in the health and wellness field and land. And God bless all of you guys that support us. We want you to like, share, and comment on our videos and help us to spread this word. I feel like, every week I can take any topic and turn it into a food talk because food is such a driver of inflammation. And I'm here for you guys. My office is here for you. We're going to do everything we can do to serve you, take care of you, and be a part of you and your family's well-being and journey. God bless all.
Thank you, Dr. Chapa. Hey, everybody, stay tuned. It's 10:01. This is KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. Feel free to share this out, and then let me know if you're watching on Facebook in the comments section if you want to attend the Bay Area Houston Women's Conference. We're giving away a pair of tickets to you. It's Friday, South Shore Harbor Resort and Hotel, right off of South Shore Boulevard. It's going to be something that's a lot of fun. I went last year, and I'm going to go again this year, hang out at the dudes table. It's a great time. Stay tuned. We have Pastor Catherine Rudolph in studio. She's going to be sharing about all of the events, and I promise there are probably about 5 or 6 events coming up that you are going to want to be able to attend, including the Talk of Taco Cook-Off happening this Saturday. Stay tuned. All right, Dr. Chapa, you're awesome. Hey, what's the topic next week? Do we know? Are we open to suggestions for the coming weeks?
Yeah, absolutely, of course. That's part of it. Is just we've done two styles of show for the last year. The first style was just kind of me, you, and Kurt just rocking and rolling through
Wild West.
Wild West, shooting off the cuff. This season is more of kind of a directed topic, and because we found that I have again a wide, vast, deep knowledge of a lot of different things to share.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to kind of package them in topic and style. I don't remember. We have it planned. I just don't remember what we.
Yeah, it's on there. I accepted it.
And so every week, but yes, we are always open And so just, let me know what people are asking for, and we'll put it together.
Okay. Will do. Thank you, Dr. Chapa.
Oh.
You've met Catherine, right?
I have met Catherine in brief passing. Hi,
yes.
how are you? Nice to see you, as usual.
So we're going to keep it going. We're having a lot of fun. I'm going to share this out from
No pressure.
Abundant Life's page. So let me see. Chatting. I hate the word chatting, but I use it all the time.
Chat.
Yeah, in text, like talking, chatting, sharing, and then I always say we, and I'm like, it's not we, it's me. But I don't want to say like if it's from like a business. I don't know. Crystal may know. Crystal, can we turn your mic on for this?
Good day.
As I share this out, what's going on here? Can you move yours?
What do I need to do?
And then move the headphones off. I know, Chop. Yeah, just so I can see a little bit better. I got my windows.
Hey.
Yeah, can you share, who you are and I guess what you have going on? We have a lot going on.
I do. I always have a lot going on. My kids are even right outside the window. They're always going on.
They'll probably pull up some chairs and wave. That's one of my favorite things that they do.
Aw. Sweet. Well, my name is Catherine Rudolph. I am the executive pastor and children's minister right now at Abundant Life. And our fall season is non-stop, right? There's just always something that's going on at the church. So one of the biggest things is our fall harvest event. It's called Hallelujah Harvest. We've done it. This is 34 years that we've done this event. It started in Pastor's Garage. I was, 3 or 4 years old, I guess. And we started it in the neighborhood because Pastor and Miss Cindy wanted their children to have an alternative to Halloween. And so we just started it right there, and they had like the little bobbing for apples, the dartboard, just some little things set up in the garage and on our driveway where neighborhood kids could come and get candy. And that was the first one. And now there's usually, at least 1,000 people that come onto campus and do, all the fun stuff on October 31st here at the church. Not in their driveway anymore.
Do you ever look back and think, man, these kids got it, they got it made. Like, I remember back in the day, there was not, now we have like everything. There's so much fun and like everything's going on.
Like inflatables. And my favorite thing this year is the foam party. I may get in there and be part of this, but it's supposed to be just like a huge foam pit where you could like, I don't know.
That's cool. Like, and I'm thinking of foam like bubbles.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not styrofoam, like bubbles foam. Where you could make a Texas snowman, maybe?
Oh, that's where I'm going to be.
In the foam pit?
I know I'm supposed to be working, but I'm
That's
going to be
what
in the
you're
pit.
working
I'll be
then.
hiding in there.
Foam party. I'm down. Hey, let's go ahead and switch it on the FM, and we'll share with our audience everything else. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Right now it's 10:06 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. And I need somebody to let me know if you're watching on Facebook or wherever. Maybe you can text in 346-704-1806 if it's still cool outside, because it was like 68 degrees.
It's awesome right now.
It's been nice.
Yeah, it's in the 70s, I think, now.
Oh,
But
here we go.
beautiful.
Here we go again. We got Catherine Rudolph, Pastor Catherine Rudolph in studio. She's going to be sharing about a ton of events that we have going on right now. As soon as like this weekend and then next week, we're going to have a lot of fun. Can we go in order? Does that make sense? Like, what's coming up? I know we got our taco stuff on Saturday.
I'm sharing this. Sorry.
And Crystal was asking me earlier, and I'm going to call her out.
Oh, no.
hard.
Don't call me out.
Crystal, who is awesome and does a lot, and I appreciate everything. She's like, so Saturday, is that like an all hands on deck
I was going to say,
thing?
when you preface it with, she's awesome, but...
It's like a whole. I was like, and I kind of was just like listening because I could tell she wasn't done. She was like, well, there's some stuff, and I was like, no, we got it under control. I'm pretty sure, but we've never done one before. Best case scenario, 1,000 people show up. Worst case scenario, 1,000 people show up and we aren't prepared. So it's going to be a good time. You're invited October 12th, this Saturday, on the campus of Abundant Life, KHEA Radio in the parking lot. It's family friendly, a ton of events, stuff for kids, adults. There's going to be tacos.
The
most
How do you
important
go wrong
thing.
with that?
You can't.
No.
Tacos are amazing. I want to be a judge. I would love to be a judge. I just have some stuff I got to do on Saturday. I'm sorry, Gardy.
By judging.
Well, I mean...
It's okay. I understand. So that's Saturday. Mark your calendar. And then on Sunday, there's going to be a conference of like a prep for like our normal conference, I would say.
Yeah, just kind of like a mini conference, I guess, with Gustavo Paez, who I've never been in service with before. I've watched videos and heard lots of stories, but I mean, it's supposed to be just amazing the way that this guy ministers. And it's always fun to be in a service where you've never seen somebody speak, like you've heard a lot about them, but that anticipation, I think, even makes the service even better because that speaker can feel it and kind of like it draws on their anointing and whatever their gift is.
Is he from Colombia? Is that right?
Colombia, South America. So it's a Spanish-speaking service, and he works through a translator. But if you've ever been in a service with a translator, it really is very smooth. So you should that shouldn't be a deterrent. You should come anyway so you can be part of it.
So he's here starting Sunday morning.
Yeah, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. We'll have services here with him.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be there. And, everybody else, that's all hands on deck, Crystal, if you were wondering.
I will be here.
And as Catherine mentioned, it is a Spanish-speaking service, but if you go and watch the clips, like his translator, I feel like is just as like anointed and powerful.
Very
as he
dynamic.
It's crazy how that works together, and like his voice and delivery is almost a big part of it. I was like, I wonder if they have a gift together. Is the only way to describe it.
For sure.
So.
Well, and when you get in a service like that, and even if you don't speak the language, it's that whole thing about like the power of God doesn't know a limit. Like we say that cliche statement, it can break down any wall. It doesn't know any kind of barrier. But even when it comes to not speaking the same language, you still feel the presence of God and still experience it the same way, and almost in a deeper way because it forces you to focus your heart differently because you don't understand every word coming out of the speaker's mouth necessarily.
Yeah. Has there been a service like this before where there's been a translator?
We've done some stuff like that before. It's been several years that we've done it, since we've done it. But yeah, we have. And I mean, the church loves it every time. And this area is so multicultural that, I mean, they're drawn to anything that's God. It doesn't have to be something that's your language necessarily.
Yes. And then the next thing coming up would be our Fall Harvest Festival, which we call Hallelujah Harvest.
Right. Yeah, and the foam party, a.k.a. the foam party.
What if we just changed it from that to the foam party? Do you think more people would be open to attend?
I don't know. There's a good possibility.
Well, I guess we'll find out. And what's going to be there? Obviously, the foam party.
Right. So we have inflatables. We have a 9-hole putt-putt golf course that's going to be there this year. First time that we've ever done that. We have something called soccer darts. That's a giant, like a 20-foot inflatable dartboard. But instead of using darts, you get to go for your soccer skills and see how good you are there. We have a 3-on-3 basketball tournament that's for older people, so 16 to 25, male or female, 3-on-3 teams.
I'm too old.
You're too old.
I'm
sorry.
Too old. That's great.
It's only $30 to enter. And then there's a cash prize for the winning team, and other prizes will be given away that are specific to the tournament. That's in the gym. There's face painting. There's a petting zoo. There are your traditional like fall harvest booths, like the ring toss and cornhole, and just all those kind of little games that are there for kids where they can win candy. Help me, I know I'm missing some stuff.
I know Rock and Rivers Bounce House Party Supplies, they're going to be having, I guess, several of the bounce houses out there, right?
And like the big basketball shootout stuff. And then we've got food trucks that are going to be here. We have Naldissimo, which if you were here over the summer, they're Italian food. There's Snow King is going to be here. I got to be able to run through my mind and think of everybody that's going to be here. We've got a handful. I just talked to somebody last night that's going to be here that's right over in Hitchcock that they're coming, and they have an amazing food truck, all kinds of good things on there. Funnel cakes, cotton candy, snow cones, just the works.
Do you like pickle juice snow cones? Have you ever had one?
Yes, I love anything pickle juice.
Yeah, me too.
Frozen pickle juice.
That was my go-to as a kid, and I think because it was just weird, and then it was like, oh, you kind of like it. Yeah.
Joshua drinks tiger's blood or eats the tiger's blood.
Well, tiger's blood is the best. Everybody does know. Even whenever you ask, like the snow cone people, Crystal's shaking her head no. But you say, I'm like, well, what's the best? They say it's a mixture of like multiple, and that's why.
What is your favorite?
Pickles, all the way.
Pickles?
Okay, pickles.
Oh, yeah.
That's fair. Yeah. At Snow King, they call it Cougar's blood because of Lamarck.
Okay.
The Lamarck Cougars. So go
Makes
Cougs.
sense. Go Cougs.
Yeah. And then I was wondering, like, well, should they call it, if it's in Lamarck, should they call it like Sting's blood or like Tor's blood?
No.
They're drinking their own. So, yeah, shout out to Snow King. He's going to be at the Talk of Taco Cook-Off this Saturday, and actually called yesterday and was just excited about it. So we're pumped to have him there as well, and it's going to be a good time. So after that, we are going to have a conference, right? Is that the next thing coming up? Is our normal Unshakable
it's
conference?
Unshakable. But we forgot one thing at Harvest, that KHEA is going to be sponsoring our outdoor stage, right?
That is true.
Yeah, we have a concert with Ashley Stringer and I think some others that are going to be there.
Yes.
Giving away all kinds of prizes.
Crystal singing.
Yes.
I'm singing?
She's debuting.
Oh.
We're going to have an EP
Yeah.
release for you that
No,
night.
I'm totally dropping my album, but I just got to warn you, I will be in costume, so you might not know who I am.
Are you? What are you going to be?
It's a secret.
Come on.
We have to find you in the foam pit and discover who you are.
Be in the pit. Okay. That's fun. Yeah, so KHEA, we'll be out there. There's going to be an outside stage. We're going to have some entertainment, and there's going to be a lot of prizes and stuff given out, and I'm guessing through the stage. So make sure that you come and attend. It's free to come out. There's some
free.
cost to food and stuff, right?
Yeah, some of the things cost. Some of the events and rides and stuff are free. Some of them have a very low cost to them. You can even buy a wristband for $20, and it's an all access for the whole night.
For everything.
For 3 hours. Yeah, so that's the best way to go, in my opinion.
Man, hey, someone said bacon wrapped pickles. Is that a thing? Has anybody tried that?
I don't know.
I've never tried it.
Crystal, you'll have to give it a shot.
I don't eat bacon, but honestly, bacon
womp
wrapped
womp.
pickles sound delicious. So if I did eat bacon, I would eat that.
Speaking of bacon, you did last Tuesday on accident because I
Somebody
gave you
gave her
food.
bacon?
Well, yeah, but I didn't know.
Dr. Chapa brought some food in, and his daughter had made it, and she was so excited, and she offered it to us, and I initially said no, but then Gardy's like,
But you
come on,
ate
you gotta
bacon."
eat it. So
How was it?
it was amazing.
Uh-huh.
It was delicious.
It was very good, wasn't it?
I'm kind of reconsidering my life choices now.
Yeah. Dr. Chapa, he's a big believer of, hey, cook it in bacon fat. Even talking about vegetables, like if you're on a cleanse, like cook it in the bacon fat because the fat is what helps you stay and feel full, especially
Right.
whenever the vegetables, they won't hold you. If you just ate like a vegetable, celery, it's not going to, but if you cook vegetables in it, then it kind of gives you an extra ump.
So I did a keto diet for 6 months, right?
Right.
Which is all about fats. That's like the number one thing. Best diet I've ever done in my life. Easiest diet I've ever done. I lost a ton of weight.
Did you do a lot of cheese?
Cheese, bacon, avocado, tuna. That was pretty much my life for about 6 months.
Yeah.
That and a gallon of water a day.
Dr. Chapa's, he likes the keto diet. He just doesn't like so much of the dairy. He's like, well, a lot of people, they're just like, I'm only going to eat cheese and, cheese and cheese.
No, I mean, I didn't eat that much because I don't know, it kind of gets like that, like,
Yeah.
after a while. But no, pretty much like the tuna, the bacon, eggs,
Right.
ton of eggs and avocado. It was really good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. It was a great diet.
It's a good option. It is a good option for a lot of people, and it works. So, so then we have our Unshakable conference that's taking place in November, and I have to bring up the commercial. And I don't know if anybody's seen the commercial. I originally read the script, and there's guy number 1 and guy number 2. You know what I'm talking about, right? The video where we're watching
Yeah.
the stuff.
Uh-huh.
I read the script. If you haven't seen it, you can go watch it. It's on Abundant Life's page, and I-45 Now shared it out. It's actually at the movie theater. If
I
you
saw it
if you
over
go
the
watch a
weekend.
movie.
I did. I saw it in the theater. It was awesome.
My mom goes to the movies all the time, and so she sent me a picture. She was like, "Look, you're on the big
You're on
screen.
the big screen.
You're
You made it.
I am not. And I always thought, if I ever made a debut on a big screen, how would it be? And it's not that way. That was not the role that I had picked.
No red carpet.
No red
no paparazzi
carpet.
yet.
Nothing. And I saw a comment that somebody left on I-45 Now, and it was funny. And it was like, this production is so great. How could they ever afford these A-list actors? And so I commented back as KHEA, and I was like, thanks! Like, exclamation point. That's like my favorite thing to do is whenever somebody says something a little, maybe facetious. It's hard to read tone at times, but that one was pretty clear.
Right.
And just be like, man, thank you so much. I'm so excited. The script was great. And then when it came down to like, hey, they needed this video yesterday, I was like, Kurt, this needs more time. But we didn't have the time. And it's good. It gets the point across.
It does.
What are your thoughts on it?
I like the video. My favorite part is the concession guy with the
Ethan.
smile
Ethan.
and the
Ding.
Oh yeah,
That
that
was-
makes the video.
That was my idea. That was
the
my idea.
finishing touches, right?
Yeah. So it's a great time. And who's all going to be there?
So, of course, Pastor Josh, our pastors here at the church, Nathan Morris, who is internationally known and has an amazing healing ministry, really has a revelation of the power in the name of Jesus, the blood of Jesus. Samuel Rodriguez, who is a pastor and just has a huge influence all over the nation, definitely. Very, very dynamic speaker. Help me think here. Jesse Duplantis, who's been here now for every conference at Abundant Life. I think there was only 1 year that he came on a Monday. Otherwise, like Tuesday night is reserved. that's his night, his ministry. He's hilarious, and it's like you're laughing, but it's like a gut shot at the same time when he's speaking.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh man, that rings true, but it's also funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ron Carpenter, Wednesday night, closing it out, also a senior pastor. I love the mix of pastor and evangelist
Yes.
that's at the conference, and that a pastor is closing it out, because I think that when they're at a church conference itself, that heart of a pastor is really, really great to just seal what's happened for the whole week.
What's the main difference?
Evangelists they're all over. They minister at churches. They build relationship with churches.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have unique ministry gifts, prophetic and healing, and a lot of times different revelation about a particular thing in the scripture that they go to the world with that gospel. And a pastor is someone who trains people. They're with you for life. They're local church. They're grassroots kind of people. They want to see your whole family grow and be with you from birth to marriage to when you go to heaven one day.
Yeah. Is there a natural progression, like, besides, I don't know, maybe not Jesse Duplantis, but some of these evangelists, like, as they move into the next phase, they may start a church? Is that natural at all?
Yeah, I mean, there could be. And sometimes there's almost like a dual role in your calling. Like, I don't necessarily think you're just a teacher or just a preacher. A lot of times you have a lot of those things that'll work in your life. And like you said, through different phases, because once you get a little more knowledge in the word and you're grounded and you've done something for 30, 40 years, sometimes there's a specific message that God drops in your heart, just like you would for a prophet or for an apostle. You'll see a lot of pastors that become apostolic and start planting churches and have people under their ministry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do think there are sometimes steps there.
One thing I always thought, growing up, like, if you're an evangelist, like you said, you have your message, you could preach that same message, every day.
Right.
And nobody would know unless it was broadcast or they watched.
Sure.
But whenever you're in a church, you got to have a new word or a message or part of a series every
Always.
single time you speak.
Yeah.
So that seems like it would be, I mean, it's a bit more work, but not necessarily, just from the outside looking in.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. It's a different study pattern and different preparation than what
Yes.
it would be for somebody who is evangelistic. One isn't greater than the other, but there's just differences. And a pastor's heart is a little more sensitive, I think, to the region that they're a part of, because once again, they're connected to families and to individuals. They're more invested on a personal level because they're called to an area and to a local region,
Yeah.
whereas an evangelist is more of a big picture kind of a person, and they're worldwide most
Right.
of the time.
One thing that Pastor Hallam has mentioned lately, whenever talking about Gustavo Paez, is, the gift of God. And he says, I hope I'm saying this right, or you may know what I'm talking about, how Jesus, when he walked on the earth, and, since forever, he had the gift of God, without measure. He had all of the gifts.
Yeah.
And people on earth, ministers, evangelists, if you're a prophet, they have different measures of the gift. But Jesus had them all,
Right.
100% unlimited. And so when he was talking about Gustavo, he has a prophetic gift.
Yeah.
Where he has openings to, like, gifts of knowledge and words.
Yeah, like word of wisdom, word of knowledge, the miracle, gift of faith. Those are like some of the power gifts in the 9 gifts of the Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, not everybody operates in those gifts. They're very unique, for sure.
Yeah, I had never thought. It was just very interesting to hear him say that. And it's like, wow, well, you can have, and talking to Dr. Chop, he talks about, like, your health, your meter. It's literally a meter. And it's like, if that person has a gift, like, it would just be cool to even spectate if you're questioning it.
Very true. Well, and gifts like that are like exercise. The more you use them, the stronger you get, the more experienced you are with what it is, the more you hone in your ability to hear what God is saying to you, so you get more clarity with what you're using. And somebody like Gustavo Paez has obviously had a lot of ministry, and a lot of years doing that and tapped into that ability to exercise. That's what the word says, that we should exercise our gifts. And I mean, he and others like him have obviously done that to be at that level.
Yeah. So during that Unshakable conference, the children are going to be having a lot of fun too.
Oh, yeah. We always have fun in Kids Church.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called KHEA. So it's like a, I don't know, fall time of year barnyard party that we're having all week long. And we're running it like a vacation Bible school, which is traditionally in the summer. And we did one this year. It was wonderful. But we're doing one. We've never done a nighttime vacation Bible school. And so that's what we're running, like a little mini kids conference / VBS that's going to be happening throughout that week. So from Sunday morning, Sunday's the only morning because kids are in school, obviously. And then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, we're going to be doing it. So, yeah, I mean, live animals.
There will be live animals.
Live
there?
animals that are going to be there. There's something called a silky chicken, right?
What is that?
Silky chicken. It's like a chicken that has it's
Very
feathers.
bouffant feathers,
Yeah,
right?
they're very poofy.
It's like a
and
Texas chicken.
I don't know. They're really cute.
Big hair. They're supposed to be
Yeehaw,
really
that's all I
soft.
can say.
Yeah, so that and other animals, characters, we're going to do a craft. It's called Joy Zone. So we have a craft zone, a music zone, game zone, word zone, chicken zone. We're doing dinner for the kids every night whenever they come in. So mom and dad don't even worry about dinner, come straight from work. And we're going to have like a meal, not just like a bag of goldfish, but a meal that they sit down to and they can eat. And then we're going to get into the word, have some crazy praise, meet a silky chicken and other animals and learn the word. It's going to be a lot of fun.
What other animals? Do we know for sure yet, or is it still like top secret? Or
it's still
unconfirmed?
top secret. I can't reveal all of our surprises for the week.
Yeah, the VBS y'all had in the summer. What was that one called?
Vacation Bible School this summer was called Roar, and it was a safari. Remember we had Safari Steve?
Yes,
I don't know if
he came
any
in.
of our viewers. Yeah, he was here with us and had quite a life story that he gave us.
Man, I still want to sit down with him and just pick his brain because he's been through a lot. That was amazing.
He has been through a lot.
South Africa.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. How's he doing?
He's doing
any
good.
contact?
He's been traveling a whole lot. I talked to him actually this weekend, but he's been out on the road.
Wow. All right, good to know. I'm keeping him in prayers.
Right?
Right now, it's 10:26. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. If you're watching on Facebook, feel free to share this video out and then leave in the comments if you want to attend the Bay Area Houston Women's Conference. It's taking place this Friday. We're giving away a pair of tickets. It's at the South Shore Harbor Hotel and Resort, right off of South Shore. Top Star Marketing and Pierre Castillo are putting that on. I had the opportunity to attend last year, hanging out at the guys' table. And it's a great time. There's probably about like 200 or 300 people there.
Nice.
And there was everybody there. Like I was like, I've interviewed every single one of these people in here before, talking about their nonprofit, talking about their business. So if you're looking to connect with people, this is a great event to network and then
Nice.
also be pouring into as well.
Great option.
There's an one of the Olympic athletes. She was on one of the gymnast squads from like gold medal because that's what the U.S. does is just get gold medals in the Olympics.
USA.
So she's going to be the keynote speaker there.
That's awesome.
So should be a good time. We had a women's thing as well here at the church not too long ago with Danielle.
Yeah, we did over the summer. It was a lot of fun. She's actually going to be at the conference as well.
Is there some stuff going on with that still?
Yeah, so Tuesday morning of the conference. So it'd be the 3rd, 4th, the 5th at 11 a.m. It's going to be right here, right next to KHEA, right here in Champions Hall, the room right next to it. She's going to be doing a couples conference. So when Danielle's been here, she's only done the women's portion of the ministry that she does. But she also does a breakout session that's just for guys, which I think would be really interesting to have her come and do. But for this particular session, she's doing couples. So if you're married, if you are engaged, if you have a +1 that you want to bring because you're just curious, it would be a great thing to do. And it's a personality session, which I think is really funny. Could be really funny.
Yeah.
But it's all about finding kind of your lane and who you are and understanding a little bit more about yourself so that you can be in a better relationship with your partner.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Danielle, I've sat down at a table with her and I've had some conversations, and she's a good talker.
Yeah.
Whenever you have a conversation and maybe it went different with you, maybe not, but she asked those questions. And questions is like, where's the are we on radio right now?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? Am I getting
She's
interviewed?
not afraid to just dive right in.
Yeah.
Not at all. And she does that in her sessions too. Like, it's very poignant what she says. Danielle is beautiful. She's very calm and well-spoken. And when she speaks, you're looking and thinking like, oh, look at this nice lady up here talking to me. And then it's like, oh, wait. Like, that really rings true with me. That's something that I need to look into a little bit more. And I'm excited about her doing this session with couples to just kind of get into it. So what you do, you come in and you take a personality test, right? No right or wrong answers. Nobody panic. And then the room is separated out by colors. So if you're personality whatever, you sit in the blue zone. If you're personality B, you sit in the yellow zone, kind of like that. And then you talk about the different personality types, and then you get to, once again, get insight on you. And then I think she lets the tables mingle and the couples mingle and be like, oh, this is, you know, whatever. Just have some conversation.
Is it fair that I'm scared to go into that? Because I'm like, my marriage.
That's why I say don't be afraid, because
My marriage is good. That's the thing. I'm just like, marriage is good. I feel like the more I learn, it may mess up something.
no, don't be afraid of that.
Gardy, is good enough? Is that all we're aiming for? Do
Yes.
you want a good marriage, or do you want the
Do you want
best
a great marriage?
You know, and I don't want to, like, if I'm like, oh, marriage is great, then it's like, I don't know. I want to have goals still. Like, let the natural flow of things just take place. You
How
know,
long have y'all been married?
5 years.
5 years.
Mhm.
So you're good. You're solid at 5 years. It's okay to take a little bit of a look into it.
Yeah. But what if they're like, because I've heard some information's leaked out. Like, I went back and watched the tapes that they said for the guys. I'm just kidding. No, I didn't. But it's just like, ladies, you know, I don't know. Jennifer, my wife, she told me like some of these things. And I'm just like, that's great information. And that probably works for a lot of people. But just because there's something spread out there, it can't work for everybody the exact same. There's adjustments.
And that's true. Yeah, you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt, see if it works for you. And that's kind of the point of this, is to have insight. And if it works, then, you know, lace up your shoes and go with it. If it doesn't, then move on to the next thing.
Crystal, did you attend the women's conference this summer?
Yes, I did.
How did it make you feel? Did it help you?
Well, I mean, I'm single, so I don't know that. I mean, it's good in an informational sense of like, okay, this is great information that I can apply in the future if I ever stop being single.
Oh, my God.
But
Don't be such a Debbie Downer.
but I mean, for the time being, I don't
But
really.
it's good information.
Yeah, it's great information. I can't necessarily apply it yet. Well, I can't actually. I take that back, because I think Danielle's sessions are useful even for people who are single, because it gives you good insight into yourself. And until you do that work on yourself, you're never going to have like a lasting or good relationship. You've got to really know who you are and what you're about. And I think she helps you take a deep look into your own personal self and what you can improve on to improve relationships. So,
yeah. Well, and let's say this too. It's Bible-based. So she's not coming at you from this like painful philosophical level where she's asking you to like drudge up all of the bad from the past.
Mm-hmm.
She's pointing you to things in the Word that say, this is how you can be successful. This is how you can build a strong relationship. This is where you can get some foundational areas if something's rocky, or you can strengthen it if it's good. So again, you don't have to be afraid of it, because it's positive stuff that's coming into your life.
You know what I would like? What were you going to say?
I was going to say, she will call you out, though. There were a few times in the summer session where I felt like she was like personally coming up and knocking on my door.
Reading your mail?
Yeah.
She has that Gustavo Paez. And it's like,
Oh,
whoa!
she doesn't even realize
What
it.
just happened? I was going to say what I would like is I think a parenting conference would be cool.
I think so too.
But there's so many different ways to parent, and I feel like times have changed even from whenever I was raised as a kid.
Yeah.
But like, hey, what does the Bible say about, you know, raising kids? Because in today's age, I guess like applying it to, it's 2019, it's about to be 2020. There's a lot that has changed.
So much.
Stuff that kids are going through now that they didn't have to go through
They
even
didn't
10
see
years
till
ago.
they were in college, and they're seeing
Right.
it in middle school now. Yeah.
Right. So I think a parenting conference would be cool. Like, you know, we can squeeze that in just before the end of the year. That'd be great.
With everything else, right? Just tuck it in there one weekend.
If you're interested in that, who would like to attend a parenting conference?
I'd be interested to know.
I would like to hear some feedback. If you have some kids, or maybe you plan on having kids one day and you want to know, hey, how do I raise kids currently and today? In the comments, let me know. Again, feel free to share this out because we are giving away 2 tickets. And I've seen a lot of people that have shown interest into that Bay Area Houston Women's Conference. It's this Friday. So make sure that you can go and then let me know why you should go. But we're talking to Pastor Catherine Rudolph about all of the upcoming events here at Abundant Life, and we're kind of on the Unshakable Conference, but that's if that's not enough that we have, there's still a lot more, throughout the rest of the year that we have going on.
Yeah, so do you want me to talk about it?
Yeah.
So we have in November, it'll be like 2 weeks following the conference, or maybe 3 weeks, depending how Thanksgiving falls this year. We do our turkey giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
So for first-time guests, so if you bring a guest or when you bring a guest on that Sunday, we have a Thanksgiving turkey that we give to people. The members of the church have donated, which I think is awesome that the church becomes part of that, gives back, wants to see people coming to church, wants to get them connected in the local house. And then, can't go wrong with getting a good Thanksgiving turkey. One less thing you can check off the list that you got to do for that week.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll do, at Christmas time, we do our Great Christmas giveaway, which is the presents for kids. That's the 3rd Sunday of the month. Also that day, we give away Christmas hams and pies to people who come in that are guests. We do a concert that night that's all Christmas carols. Get to see the talent here in the church. People sing, they play instruments, the kids perform, the teenagers perform. It's just a fun time. It's only like an hour, but then afterwards, Santa Claus is here with hot chocolate.
Ah, that works out.
Picture? Yeah, Santa at a Christmas concert. How do you go wrong with that?
And then he should sing.
A singing Santa?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fun.
I like this idea.
Yeah,
if you're a singing Santa, let Gardy know so that I would love to have a singing Santa Claus.
I want Santa to sing and play the drums.
Oh my goodness, how cool would that be?
If Santa's in the band?
Can we rotate the drum kit? I went to a concert where they rotated the drum kit. Yeah.
It's
we do that with the Santa Claus?
Newsboys and Blink-182. Blink-182 started copying the news. They were ahead of their time. I remember that. That was awesome. In the early 2000s, late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Yeah. So Christmas, we're going to have a bunch of giveaways that are going on. And these are things that we've done for years at Abundant Life.
Years. Christmas Eve service, one of the best things. It's one of my favorite services of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's very traditional. It's reading the Christmas story. It's very family oriented. And I love it when the camel walks in. One year he walked in. So I sit on the stage, obviously, with our family and get to read the Christmas story to the congregants that come in. And this huge camel, they kind of lope when they walk in.
Mm-hmm.
And he paused and he turned his head and just stared at me. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, he's about to spit on me on Christmas Eve. I was just frozen thinking, oh, please don't spit. You can do anything else.
Can they spit that far? They can spit pretty far?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never seen it.
And I was he didn't. Thank goodness.
I'd love to. Not on you, but I'd love to see him spit, to see the distance. That'd be cool.
Thankfully, I didn't get spit on. He finally just real slowly turned his head around. And then the trainer has a kneel, in the song, which is so cool. So when he knelt, he quit staring at me, thankfully.
Okay, there's been some questions and people asking about Heartbreak Hotel, which if somebody's never heard of it, can you explain what it is and when it is? Because traditionally it's going to be in the fall.
Yeah, we normally do it in October. It's basically it's like a 2-hour concert. It's lookalikes from all your favorite artists, Christian and secular. Some are iconic, some are very current people. And it's a huge show, lights and the smoke and the action and everything you could think of. And we normally do it in October. And we've always wanted to do a summer show of Heartbreak Hotel and never done it since, 1999, I guess, that we've been running this production. And so we decided to postpone it. So it's going to be in June of 2020 that we're doing Heartbreak Hotel. So our casting will be right after Easter this year. And then, of course, get all the rehearsals in so that we can do a summer show, which I think is going to be so much fun.
Sweet. Maybe since Easter is going to be I wonder if we're going to do an Easter program of some kind, but I'm just thinking if there's the same cast, just be like, okay,
so no
we have
Easter,
rehearsal next week, and then just have
no program this year.
Okay.
But the biggest, we have 100,000 Easter eggs already.
100,000 Easter eggs?
100,000 Easter eggs.
I don't believe you.
We're doing the.
I can show you.
Crystal
I know
can
exactly
prove
where
it
they
to you.
are.
I'm going to need to see it.
We're going to do the biggest, craziest Easter egg hunt that weekend. It is going to be so much fun leading up to our big Easter service.
Where are they?
They're in the Road to Emmaus closet.
Road to Emmaus has been taken over by Easter eggs.
It's like we were going to do Road to Emmaus, but then we had 100,000 Easter eggs, and now we can't anymore.
We can't access the set.
We can't get behind it. Everything's there. And what are in these eggs? Like,
Nothing yet. So don't think we've already like stuffed them with candy that's going to be a year old. That's not the case.
okay. I didn't know because I know some people around here that would probably sneak into the closet and just be like eating all the eggs if they were full by the time Easter came around.
You're going to be very disappointed if somebody raids it now.
Man, 100,000 Easter eggs. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
How many did we last time? Like 10?
10,000.
We were going to 10. But
I think we ended
more.
up with 15. We had 15,000
15.
this year.
Yeah.
But we've now got 100,000. So we're going to need to have a big stuffing party too.
Wow. That's a lot of
A lot
plastic
of Easter
chickens.
eggs.
Yeah, it took us about 3 days to stuff the 15,000 last year. So
Y'all should start now.
We need
guess
like a
we need
good
like
month.
a solid month.
Man, okay, so definitely be on the lookout. Make sure you follow Abundant Life Christian Center's Facebook page, and you're following KHEA's because we're going to be pushing that out as well, so you can find out how to attend. I thought last year ran pretty smooth
Oh, yeah. It was great.
compared to what it can be, but there was a lot of a direction, and I felt like, hey, stay, the age groups, and every year it gets better and better.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. And we'll do that. I mean, with that many eggs this year, we'll definitely have different zones.
Mhm.
And if we're able to get the helicopter this year, which the flyover was so much fun, we'll have it sectioned off also by age group, so it's not like a stampede and the kids can actually
Yes.
enjoy it and
You know-
find an Easter egg.
It would be cool if there were, and I understand if it's not possible, but like 2 helicopters, like on separate sides of the property.
Yeah,
Hey, if
to
you're
spread
this
it out.
old, if you're this old, and it is what it is,
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's a good idea. There's a lot of logistics that go into a egg drop and an egg hunt and having, I mean, there were hundreds and hundreds of children and family members who were here that day.
Yeah.
And we want everybody to have a safe, fun experience. And ultimately, we want you to go away with Easter eggs, right?
Yeah.
And candy. So we'll plan it out. Be very strategic.
So with all of the stuff that we've talked about and mentioned, what is your favorite? Do you have one that is your absolute favorite out of these, or at least like tied for 1 and 2?
I'm not going to lie. I had a blast at VBS. It was so much fun. It is a lot of work. Crystal's about to pass out in the chair over there. It was a lot of work, but Vacation Bible School was so much fun because just the effect that it has on children.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think back, I've been in church my whole life. This is all that I've ever known. And when I think back about the most memorable moments that I have, because I've been to every conference, anything that was offered for kids, every service, like I can't even tell you if there's a service that I've missed besides when I had my children, like I just went to everything. And what I remember the most is Vacation Bible School. Those are the things that were the most impacting for me, even if it's that I remember, like one year we had the world's largest ice cream sundae. That was like the last day of VBS, and there was just a huge ice cream sundae that was, it blew our minds. We were just in shock because it was there. But those are the most memorable things to me when you have those, like a wow moment for a kid, plus they're learning the Word of God through creative elements.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, that's one of the reasons that's my favorite. But yeah, I'd say Vacation Bible School.
Do you remember any of yours, like Vacation Bible Schools?
I didn't really go to any of the VBSs. I grew up here, but I didn't get into Jesus until I was 18. So I kind of missed the whole children's ministry experience.
So that's why she's on children's staff
That's
now.
why-
So she's
yeah.
learning it. She's
I'm
experiencing
learning.
it.
I'm experiencing
Getting
it
it
at
now.
26. But I think my favorite event that the church does is it's got to be Heartbreak Hotel. Because even when I wasn't a Christian, I loved that play.
Yeah.
It was like I knew the music. I could go and just enjoy it and have a great time. And even though I didn't know it at the time, I was still getting ministered to. So
Right.
my spirit was still getting spoken to, even though I couldn't mentally grasp it.
Very
So-
cool.
That's cool. I was in the second Heartbreak Hotel, but I remember the first year, and I was like, this is awesome. I was in junior high, and then I was like, can I do something? And so I did. and it's been going on for years. I know I'm going to say thousands, maybe even like tens of thousands of people have seen that performance over the year.
Definitely.
And had their life changed. So it's really cool. And I'm glad we're going to be able to bring it back next year at a new time. There's so much stuff going on in the fall everywhere, not just like in the church, but
Just
in the
general.
community.
Yeah.
So, spread it out and have some fun as well, in the summer, and give people another opportunity to be ministered to. So cool stuff. Speaking of VBS, I think I only had the opportunity to go to one by the time I moved to this church. I was in 5th grade, right? And so it was like 1997 or 8 or something like that, right? And it was like space themed. Like everything was like, oh, the year 2000's coming. And
Yeah.
I still remember that. And I remember them having video footage of something they had filmed like in the TV control room, and just thinking like, whoa, this is so awesome, because it had all the TV screens, and I still remember that, as well. And also we painted like a stained glass like little craft,
Yes,
and I remember that.
things.
Like, I guess it stuck with me. Like, why do I remember that? Because it was a kid and it was cool, I guess. I don't know, but that was a lot of fun. So it's really neat that KHEA is going to be taking place. It's a VBS in the fall at our fall conference.
Yes.
So kids will be able to make some new memories, and the parents will know that their kids are taken care of and having fun as well.
Definitely.
And then they're going to want to come back
Every
well.
night.
And that's one of the things, because I've noticed whenever it comes to church, a lot of parents put their kids' needs over their own or their desires.
Sure.
Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah, because you want your kids to be happy. You go where they're affected the most.
Yeah. That used to not be the way. I think whenever I was a kid, it was just like, you're coming with me, and this is where we're going, like whether you're bored or not.
Yeah.
But I remember going to a lot of churches. So at least everybody's happy at this one.
Yes, they
Cool.
will definitely be happy.
Yeah. Hey, so Pastor Alum said something from the pulpit the other day for Gustavo Paez next week.
Uh-huh.
There's going to be like food. Did
That's-
we get that secured and figured out?
Yeah, he said for the church.
I melted in my chair when I heard it. I was like, what does this entail?
Well, he said in Champions, right? That we would have it
I don't know.
set up. Yeah, so basically same concept for what we're doing in children's church, that you don't have to worry about trying to grab dinner when you get off of work. So if you get off at 6, you can just come straight on, whether you're in scrubs, your kid's in, a football uniform because they're getting out of practice, whatever it is, just come to church and you get that full experience. We'll have something for you to eat beforehand, and then you can go straight into the sanctuary and get ministered to.
Yeah. And you'll probably take advantage. Oh, everybody will. But I'm just thinking, because I always see, your family, they're here all the time, right? Every service.
Yep.
And then your brother, Kyle, but he plays baseball. And so like sometimes he's at church with his baseball uniform on, or like got a game later. Your dad like has on his gear to support. So it's just really cool to, well, first of all, to see like, just because you can be involved in church and also be involved in everything else that entails. So it's really nice to see. So, hey, is there anything else you'd like to share while you're here today?
Anything at all? Just like off the top of my head?
Anything.
Share? Anything?
Any event or like, I don't know.
I'll talk about our youth ministry, because I've been talking to our youth pastors here recently. My husband, Joshua Rudolph, and then Darian Oliveris are over our youth ministry, and they've got some really cool stuff that's coming up. And if you've ever heard Joshua speak, he's very, he likes to illustrate things. He's very creative whenever he ministers. And on the first Wednesday of the month, they do like I'm just going to call it a big night, where they have a big service. There's an illustration, there's dinner. It's like a bring your friends, the kids, the teenagers do a lot of the ministry that happens there too. And then on the rest of the month, they do gym night. So it's an open gym. So it'll be a basketball tournament, dodgeball tournament, whatever. There's different classes. If you're not into sports, there's other activities in the gym that are going on so that you can be part of that. And then either Joshua or Darian always minister to the kids and have an opportunity that week to just pour into their life. And I just think youth ministry is one of the most key elements that a parent can insert in their teenager's life. Because like you said, they're doing everything. They're doing sports, they're doing music, they're doing school. Kids are in collegiate. I mean, they're graduating with a 2-year college degree. And they need that insertion of the ministry of God and an outlet to develop that gift as much as they do their athletic skill. And we have a great program that's here at the church that kids can get plugged into and find their place, whatever it is, whatever it is they like to do. There's something for everyone. It's like a a mini version of what happens in the main sanctuary. And two, so that they get grounded, so that when you go to college or whatever your next step is in your life once you turn 18, that you don't get lost. Because that's the story of so many people, right? You turn 18, 19 years old, you start to waffle, you have all these questions about life, you're given this like pseudo independence and think you can make all of these choices now, and I can get a tattoo, and then I turn 21 and I can drink and I can smoke and I can do, all of these things. And so there's like this secular independence that's given there. And if they're not grounded in the word, then they get lost, right? And then all of these things that they used to hold so true or see their mom and dad do, it's just a big question mark over their life now, because they just take the option that's given to them instead of having some kind of a foundation and the ability to develop that independence in their spirituality. And that's what youth ministry does. It lets them build that foundation and find out who you are in Christ, instead of when they come to kids' church, like you said, it's like you're going to church,
right?
Whether you want to or not, you're going. And so you develop a relationship with God as a kid a lot of times through what mom and dad do. But as a teenager, you have to learn it for yourself, or else when you turn 18 to 25 in that, college and career finding range, you lose it, right? Because there's no foundation. And so I think that getting kids plugged into youth ministry, teenagers, is so, so very important at the earliest possible age, because they start that process. Even if you make some mistakes and missteps along the way, that's called life, right? Mm-hmm. You pick yourself back up, and you've got a youth pastor, a youth worker, a church, an organization, a group, whatever you find your place in that youth ministry, to reconnect with and to get back on track. And I think that's important for them to learn too, that a mistake is not a finality, but there's somebody waiting with open arms that's going to accept you, help you heal, and get you back on the right path. And I think that parents need to have a stronger conviction about bringing their kids to youth ministry, and not just saying because you sat with me on Sunday morning in church that's good for the week. You got your fill. But to understand the power in that outlet for their kid as much as the need to be on a team sport or in band or whatever their extracurricular is. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
What I'm saying? Yeah,
it helps to be ministered, in a way that you understand. It's relevant.
Yes.
Like I can say message and Crystal can, but if she says it in a way that actually resonates with that person, I may not,
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that kids go through again today, teenagers especially, that I didn't have to deal with, that people didn't have to deal with, or Pastor Hallam didn't have to deal with,
Exactly.
whenever he was a kid. So having that on your level where you can understand and somebody that can relate can make all the difference. And then having people like your friends around you that you can kind of bounce stuff off of. Hey,
exactly.
Wow. In that community, it's very important. I know that there are plans for a new youth center, a new youth building.
Yes.
And that's going to be a lot of fun and very nice.
Yeah, so next year we should be opening it, but state of the art. We're talking about putting an LED wall on the stage, which would be just, can you imagine walking into a service as a teenager with an LED wall,
mm-hmm.
like going into a concert? Really cool lighting. There's going to be a cafe area where you can like eat and hang out. Free Wi-Fi. What kid doesn't love that?
All of them.
Outdoor basketball court, gaming center inside, so like pool, air hockey, video games, all that kind of stuff. For those that like to just kind of be in the zone a little bit and get on a tablet, we're going to have an area like that that's just like a plush area where you can crash like on a couch or whatever, just kind of hang out with friends, plug in if you got to charge a device, right? Which everybody needs an outlet these days. And then, of course, ministry time, really cool setup in our auditorium and service experience so that when they come in, they can experience the power of God, but do it in a place that wows them, that they're proud to bring their friends to.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we're really excited. The building has been cleared. It's about to be totally gutted and then redesigned for our young people.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
You might have mentioned this and maybe I missed it, but is there going to be like a cafe, like food?
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Yeah. There's always food with teenagers.
Yeah. Because
we'll definitely do that.
The last two buildings, like there was the cafe station over there and then at the other one. And that's important. Like
it is.
It is, yeah. Because kids are like, I came from school or for practice or I just want a snack.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's
definitely going to be food.
Good option. All right. Well, thank you for hanging out today.
Yeah, it's been fun.
We have a lot of stuff going on, a ton of events. Again, feel free to share this video out if you want an opportunity to get a couple of tickets, a pair of tickets to the Bay Area Houston Women's Conference, and then let me know why you want to go, and we'll pick that winner tomorrow. Tomorrow, we need to get that winner in. So this is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Be blessed. Have a good afternoon. Do something positive today.
Real Radio.
Bye, Facebook.